Welcome back, Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classics as Non-Classic. This is episode number 253, and Doubleshot number 184. First up, Batman 66, Volume 3. Yes, I have reviewed Volume 3 or Volume 1 already. You can check some of my early videos. Why am I reviewing Volume 3 right now instead of going to Volume 2? Because, well, the library didn't have it, and I own Volume 1. I just haven't bought Volume 2 and 3 yet. This contains issues 11 to 16 of the series. Now, this is a bit odd for it to do this because the previous two trades collected 5 issues apiece, and this one collects 6. Now, I should also tell you that the series ended at issue 30, but DC is continuing the Batman 66 stuff due to crossovers. I mean, with the success of the Batman 66 Green Hornet crossover, I own one of the issues of it, and I have read the series. It's really good, like Kevin said. Highly recommend it. They've done crossovers with, right now, Man from Uncle, Mrs. Peel, and Man from Uncle, Mrs. Peel, and I heard something they did with the British version of the Avengers, the spy show, not the comic book. Completely unrelated, despite the fact that the show started about a couple years prior to the actual comic, but this is about 66 comic. The regular 6 comic's actually really good. I mean, well, the one thing I thought was so odd though about this is that, yeah, you have Batgirl show up in here, but here's the thing. I've watched Batman 66 TV show. When she showed up on the show, Eartha Kitt was Catwoman at the time. And there was never any on-screen explanation of why Catwoman's skin color changed from white to black. Off-screen, it's because the actress changed. Now this, the artist used the original Catwoman from the show, who is, trying to remember her name. I don't really remember her name. She was only in the first couple seasons of the show, but she missed the movie. I don't remember her name, but easily, those who are familiar with the Joker, people think of either Jack Nicholson or Heath Ledger or soon upcoming Jared Leto. This is the Cesar Romero Joker. Yep, he was the first person to ever play the Joker in live action. Now, this book also has a few other characters show up in here. We also have the Burgess Meredith Penguin. Yeah, as a matter of fact, he's one of 3 men that played Penguin. I mean, aside from the one from Gotham, the only person people can think of when they think of the Penguin, they think of Danny DeVito, Batman Returns. We also have Egghead, an original character from the show. This is Mr. Freeze. Well, one of the 3 actors. I think it's either the second or third actor that portrayed Mr. Freeze because they had 3 different actors portray him. We also have Falseface. The Clock King, who in the first trailer revealed that the Clock King and the Mad Hatter were in fact brothers. I am not kidding. They are in fact brothers in this continuity. Now, in regular comics, the Clock King is a Green Arrow villain, but people tend to associate Clock King with Batman. So, DC made up for that by giving Green Arrow one of Batman's villains. They gave him Killer Moth. Yep. Let's see. I think the Siren's in here as well. But yeah. Like they're in the Arkham Institute. That's what it's called in this continuity, not Arkham Asylum. There is a version of Harley Quinn in here, and she's a psychiatrist. And there she is. That's Harley Quinn. Yeah, she's not wearing the Jester outfit, but hey, it's Harley Quinn. And it's kind of hints at, despite the fact in the show, Commissioner Gordon wanted to hook up Barbara with Bruce Wayne. Despite the fact when regular comic fans think of Barbara Gordon, they think of her trying to hook up with Dick Grayson. There's a kind of hints in here as well. This guy here, that is King Tut. He made a few appearances on the show. He's a good villain, and there is a version of this character that does exist in the regular DC universe. You can read it in there's a Batman Confidential trade, Riddle of the King's Tomb. It's a 3-part story that brings the King Tut to the regular DC universe. It's a really good story. The only difference is that King Tut is a guy who's very slim. This guy is a professor who gets knocked in the head a bunch of times. Yeah. We also have appearance by the Bookworm. He only appeared for 2 episodes. Not the very noteworthy villain. We also have the Siren. This is just in the opening issue. Let's see. Well, of course, you got Egghead and Falseface. I've already told them about that. You guys about that. Chief O'Hara does show up in here. Pretty much any character who's usually associated with the show does show up in here. And unlike in the first show, you bring in some characters or things that were not really in the show. This one really doesn't really bring anything new. It's still there's a few new things they do bring to the show. Oh look, it's Marcia, the Queen of Diamonds. That's her. Her associates. And here's something interesting to know about this. This is actually issue 12. She has become the second villain to ever break into the Batcave. In the history of the show, she's the second person to drill into the Batcave. During the 3rd season of the show, King Tut got a drill and drill into the Batcave. Yep, so Marcia, Queen of Diamonds is the second villain from the show to do that. And yet, the Penguin has been in the Batcave. If you ever seen the Batman the movie, which is associated with this comic, the show, he has been in the Batcave. No other villain has been in the Batcave aside. So as of right now, there have been 3 villains that have set foot in the Batcave in this show. You have King Tut, the Penguin, and Marcia, Queen of Diamonds. Yep. So that's one thing new. There's one other thing that really is new. When I get to it, let's see. Ooh, yes. Let me introduce you to the first Batman and Robin costumes. These are the prototype costumes. There is a reason why they put these on. The reason why they put this on was because the William Shakespeare statue was stolen. Yep. Those of you who watched the show or seen just the Batman movie, they pull up the head of William Shakespeare, push a button, and the bookshop pushes back, and it's Batcave. Yep. That's how it works. They do get it back by the end. Let's see. There's also an attempt to make Batman into a dark. I mean, there's this one issue which is not written by Jeff Parker. There's a story in here called "Don't Change That Bat Channel." This one's written by Gabe Sarita. This is basically an attempt to bring in the dark version of Batman into this continuity, but it's one from a TV show, and the show was not called Batman. It's called The Dark Knight Detective, and he's very scruffy looking, and he's got he wears the Batcave. And here's the thing: people are actually afraid of Batman in this one story, but it goes away by the time the story ends. Let's see here. Yeah, it turns out the person behind this. Now, I thought this was Mad Mod at first. Now, before they unveiled who this guy is, I mean, by looking at this guy, he could have been Mad Mod. He's an old Teen Titans villain. If you watched the Teen Titans TV show, the guy who was very crazy about the 60s, yeah, if you're a Teen Titans villain, you might mistake him for being Mad Mod. Here's a spoiler who he is. This TV producer is Falseface. I am not kidding about this. But it's a good comic. One really big thing they did introduce in this continuity is a bat robot, a gigantic bat robot. Yeah, that's only around for this one issue. It's an interesting idea, and heck, this one is very interesting one because in this one issue you have a multiple Batman villains. You have the Clock King. Let's see who else. He's the first person to show up in this issue. We also have. Let's see. Trying to remember. Yeah, this is an alternate. Let's see. You also have Louis the Lilac, the flower gangster. Yeah, he shows up in this issue. Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah, he's from the final season of the show. He only appeared for a couple episodes. He was an odd villain. But, yeah. Let's see. Who else? We also have the Archer, a guy who also appear for 2 episodes. He is a Superman villain. Yep. Now, the reason why they had him in the show was because Frank Gorshin was in the contract dispute. That's the only reason they brought him and the Puzzler on the show. Yep. Let's see, who else? The whole point of this Batbot is to fill in for Batman and Robin while they're away. We also see appearance by the Joker. Yep. And of course, we get sort of a nod. Oh yeah, the Riddler shows up in here as well, and he's drawn like Frank Gorshin, which is fine. Takes place in the continuity. And of course, you have even the Batbot walks up walls. Yep. Let's see, what else? We also have the Penguin team with a new villain, who is called the Black Widow. This is a good look at her. This is the Black Widow. Now, from what I know about this is the first time I have ever seen this character. Now, there is no technically Black Widow character in the DC universe. It's just a character they introduced in this comic, and she's very original. She's the first original character who has no existing character version of her in the comics. If there is, please put in the comments below if you're watching this video. Let's see. Yeah, she's very original villain to this comic, but it's really cool the fact they bring in a new villain. And Egghead appears in like the last issue. Apparently, he's become different. He still has the Vincent Price look to him, which is really nice. Yeah, he still has, despite the fact his eyes are like whited out, or at least yellowed out. He still looks like the late Vincent Price. Now, that's one thing. I say late Vincent Price because most of the actors who have been on the show are, in fact, deceased. The only ones that are still alive are, in fact, Batman and Robin and Catwoman. I can't think of any others who are still alive, but if there is, put in the comments below. Yep, in this issue, we also see appearance by Mr. Freeze. Yep, Mr. Freeze. And you gotta thank the show for one thing when it comes to this particular character. It's because of this show, Mr. Freeze got his name. Originally, he was known as Mr. Zero. If you ever look up his old first appearance, which is collected in the Batman TV stories, which is the series of comics they use for the show, which if you read those comics after you watch all the episodes for the show, you're like, oh, I see where they got this stuff from. Yes. Oh, in case you're wondering, the Mad Hatter they use in the show, it's not the traditional Mad Hatter. The Mad Hatter does not have a mustache. That is actually associated with the imposter Mad Hatter. Yep. It's a nice... All these issues are really good. Yep, and at the end of the book, we also have the variant covers for Batman 66. This one's from Detective Comics 31. Here's one for Action Comics 31. The one here on the right, that one's for... this is for Aquaman. Here's Batman and Frankenstein. That's Batman and Robin 31. Green Lantern 31. Not all the covers actually. Not all the books have this. We have one for Miss Harley Quinn. The Justice League. Here's one for the Justice League. The Flash. Superman, Wonder Woman. And that's issue 8 for the book. And finally, here's one for Justice League Dark. Now, all the issues in this book are really good. Now, this comic was originally released digitally. Now, it's digital chapters, but like this is issue 1116. The printed comic, these are digital chapters 31 to 45. Yeah. Now, if you're a fan of the TV show, if you watch this TV show, you would love this comic. If you're a fan of Batman, you might actually like this comic. This comic is just really good. It's just sad to see this comic go, and now the only time you get a chance to see these characters is in crossovers. Yep. But this is still good. 9 out of 10. Awesome. This one would get people like, huh? You're reviewing this? Yep. Thor, Volume 1. The Goddess of Thunder. collecting the first 5 issues of Thor Volume 4. Originally, when this was coming out, I was kind of against the whole idea of Thor turning into a woman, but after these issues came out, I'm like, this was a good idea. Now, my guess is the reason why Marvel did this is because the Thor sales were kind of slipping. They need to do something to get people to start buying this book because, well, even though it's the same creative team as Thor God of Thunder, which is a really good comic, by the way, the book probably wasn't selling very well. That's probably the reason why they canned the book of the 25 issues and relaunched it simply as Thor. Though this book ended after just 8 issues and then was relaunched again, this time as The Mighty Thor. Basically, in the past, near decade, there has been several Thor #1s. You have Thor Volume 3 #1. There's The Mighty Thor #1. Thor God of Thunder #1. You have Volume 4 #1. And Mighty Thor Volume 2 #1. There's been 5 #1s in the past, as of right now, past 8 years. This is still really good. Now, the main villain of the story is 2 people. One who was the character that was introduced toward the end of the God of Thunder series. He's a Minotaur. He's the head of let's see here. What's his name? Dagger, I think his name is. And Malekith shows up in here as well. Now, the opening issue picks up right where Original Sin leaves off, from Thor's perspective. And, of course, Odin's back, being a dick as usual. As a matter of fact, he's still a dick right now. Well, not as much as he was here. The original Thor is no longer Thor. He has lost the ability to use his hammer. Now, I'm still questioning. Now, Jason Aaron wrote Original Sin, and he wrote the Original Sin tie-in, The 10th Realm. He wrote both those things. And yet, as of right now, almost 2 years after Original Sin ended, we still don't know what Nick Fury told the original Thor to get him to actually be no longer worthy to lift a hammer. Now, one thing I do love about the artwork is how the female Thor's hair flows. It looks so gorgeous how it flows. It flows naturally how hair is supposed to be flowing in case a person is flying. I do praise the artist for that. The artist for this, actually, there's 2 artists. Well, I'll get my book now. One of the artists is Russell Dutterman, and the other one is Georgi Malan. Now, the writer of this book is Jason Aaron, which, when I heard he was taking over from Matt Fraction, I'm like, that's actually a good idea. Because Jason Aaron, he was doing a great job with Wolverine the X-Men, and Ghost Rider. I didn't like the last part of Ghost Rider, but the guy is a good writer, so they probably figured, okay, I'll give it a chance. Originally, I didn't like Thor God of Thunder because they spent the first 11 issues telling the same story, but later on the book got better. And this is just a continuation of that. Despite the fact that the words God of Thunder has been dropped, this is still essentially a continuation of Thor God of Thunder. That's essentially what this is. But now Thor, in the first issue, he gets his arm chopped out by Malekith. That was predicted by Jason Aaron, thanks to introducing a future version of Thor in the first story arc for Thor God of Thunder. So he basically predicted Thor would lose his arm, and he does. Though in that future, it's Destroyer basically makes his arm. In here, it's actually a character that Jason Aaron introduced in the second arc of Thor God of Thunder. A guy by the name of Strubeard, who is a dwarf. He actually makes Thor's new arm. In issue 4, now basically by issue 5, this particular story wraps up, and the big question is, who is Thor? Now, there's a picture of him here, Ross Solomon. Small problem. Ross Solomon doesn't show up in any of these issues. Matter of fact, she doesn't finally show up in this book until the final issue. I'm not kidding. She doesn't show up until issue 8. Now, if you're wondering, who is this Thor? Who is this Thor? It's Jane Foster. It was spoiled about a year ago. These issues came out... let's see. Basically a year ago, a little over a year ago, these issues came out. Now, That has been known in the comics for at least 1 year now, that Jane Foster is this Thor. That was not revealed until issue number 8. Now, this particular Thor was first introduced in sort of a sneak preview in a way of the final issue of Thor God of Thunder. And then simply shows up in the first issue of this. Now, you see her briefly in a cameo at the end of issue 1. Oh, and what happens in issue 5 gets referenced in Illuminati. When she fights for the first time, Jane Foster fights first as Thor. She fights the Absorbing Man and his wife Titania. And in their first fight, she breaks Absorbing Man's jaw. Yeah, and he starts speaking gibberish, and Titania's like, she's angry at Thor. She's angry at the female Thor for one reason. She's like, I'm the only one who could break his jaw. And she decided not to fight the female Thor because she wants to give her a pass, and the next time they would fight. So was female Thor, and female says, I'm still going to hit you. She's like, yeah, I know. And then she knocks her out with a hammer. It is so funny. Yeah. This is just really good. I highly recommend anybody who is a fan of Thor, even though you were kind of against this, but this is still good. I like this. I still think this was a good idea. Now, a lot of people don't like when Marvel changes their characters. This was necessary because I have a possible theory that Thor was actually becoming one of Marvel's lowest selling titles, and they needed to do something to sort of get people back buying the book because they probably thought the book was getting boring or stale or something like that. I've read every single issue of Thor to date. I like Thor. There's some points where the book gets boring, but it doesn't last too long. But I still recommend this. Let me show off some artwork from this. Here's his name. I just happened to open up exactly what I was looking for. The CEO of Raxxon, he was introduced in the last arc of Thor God of Thunder. Now, last issue was a sword. This was last issue of the series. This guy was introduced in the last story arc just before this series started. This guy's name is Dario Agner. This is him. That is him. And of course you have Malekith. Now, a lot of people say Marvel brought this character back because he was featured in Thor God of Thunder. I gotta say, that was a brilliant stroke of genius. And they do reference what happened in Thor God of Thunder 25 when they found Leaflay's skull on the ocean floor. Mm-hmm. And this guy here, Yoke the Troll. Now, this guy is supposed to be dead. Thor killed him in the second arc of Thor, the Mighty Thor. This is him. This is the guy who was posing as Thor. This arrogant guy who was more like Titans. Yeah, it was revealed that he was actually posing as Thor all along. Now, if you're wondering what this Minotaur looks like, or at least how he transforms into this Minotaur, now, Malekith meets the female Thor for the first time. And, of course, if you read Angela, Queen of Angela, Asgard's assassin, she does meet Malekith in the final issue. She's like, who are you? I'm Malekith the Accursed. Now, this is Agner as a Minotaur. This is what he looks like under this artwork. It was different style artwork at the time. Now, he made his first cover appearance in issue 19. Yeah, on the cover, he appears as the Minotaur. This is the guy's first appearance in this volume as the Minotaur. And he does briefly fight Malekith. Yeah. And I love this line where he says, just so you know, this isn't the first time I've been threatened by a Minotaur. I just thought that was so funny. That is probably by far a great line. Yes. That is a great line of dialogue. And having an old Thor villain meeting the new Thor villain, this was great. As somebody who's read almost every single issue of Thor, I really wanted this to happen. These two villains meeting. Now, interesting fact about Malekith. In these 8 issues, Malekith appears in just about every single issue but one. He misses one. And I think he does appear in them. I don't think he appears in Mighty Thor, but he did appear in all the issues of this. This is great. Here's a good look at what the Mighty Thor the female Thor looks like in her outfit. It's a great look. I mean, yeah, she doesn't have sleeves, but at least shows off her nice arms. And it kind of looks like a skirt she's wearing, but she wears actual pants. Yeah. Let's see. What's a good... I'm going to show you a good full body picture of this character. I think I don't show her boots. Well, here's her from the back. Yeah, she actually does wear boots. Yeah, she does wear boots. Okay? Now, these issues are still really good, and I highly recommend this to people who are Thor fans who have never read this before. If you think these issues are bad, no, they are not. They are still really good. There's some continuity nods in here, and you gotta have read Thor God Thunder to understand what's going on here. But you will enjoy this. 9 out of 10. High recommendation. Alright, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which should be episode 254 and Doubleshot 185. Till then, see you there. Bye.